for joining us for this session, probably one of my personal favorites. We're going to talk about shaking a bit of salt around with Steve Spiro of Halotherapy Solutions. Thank you for joining us today, Steve.
I'm happy to be here. Which is your favorites, Halotherapy or Steve Spiro, or both? It's the synergy.
Oh, yeah, the combo, definitely. Well,
Exactly.
let's jump straight to it. Can you just help us understand what halotherapy is, please?
Yeah, the simplest way to understand it, it's really like dry salt inhalation therapy. It's done by a machine called a halo generator that crushes pure pharmaceutical salt into tiny micron-sized particles, and it goes deep into your sinuses and your lungs. And it's also great for your skin as well to get rid of inflammation.
Fantastic. Now, some of the benefits, please, of halotherapy when you're talking respiratory conditions.
It originally started with kind of, let's call it, severe respiratory conditions like asthma and COPD, but it's really like morphed more to kind of general respiratory wellness, colds, bronchitis, even things like stress relief and recovery. It's great for athletes because basically it makes the lungs healthier and stronger. So yeah, so it has a whole wide range of respiratory benefits.
Fantastic. Now, how often should people be doing these halotherapy sessions?
It depends, frankly, on what kind of condition if they have. If they have a severe cold or severe bronchitis, they could do it 3, 4 times a week. If you have mild symptoms, it might be once or twice a week. And then as your condition gets better, you might want to come in once every 2, 3 weeks to a local salt room facility.
And how long are these sessions, or do they typically last?
Anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes is the typical length of the session. If you're in a large salt room, it could go up to 45 minutes to an hour, so the salt can just disperse.
And how long does it start to or take to start feeling the benefits?
Some people, frankly, feel the benefits right away. They'll start coughing a little bit or start having like a little nasal drip thing. And that's really the salt doing its work. But typically, it might take, frankly, 1 to 2 weeks to really start feeling really strong benefits from it.
Right. So now halotherapy is one of those wonderful touchless wellness therapies. What other modalities could you pair with halotherapy?
Great question, because we've seen, I started this company, I guess, 9 years ago, and originally it was just these big salt rooms. But what's become really popular is therapy layering. So now we have a product called the Halo IR, which combines halo therapy with infrared. And by warming up the environment, the salt works better because the lungs expand more and the pores on the skin expand. We also launched in the last 3, 4 years something called the Vitality Boost Plus, which combines it with red light. And again, it's really synergistic in terms of the refraction of the red light and the salt. And then we also have found our customers are really expanding into even more integrated wellness, touchless wellness offerings. So a lot of people are using salt with cryotherapy, plunge, massage bed. So we're really just seeing a whole plethora, like that word plethora, of touchless wellness modalities being used in the same location.
Fantastic. So why should businesses consider adding halotherapy to their business?
Great question. So first of all, as we've been talking, it's a touchless wellness service. So you don't need any labor. As we've seen for many years, especially with the impact of COVID, it's been hard to get masseuses or estheticians. Might be hard to find higher quality ones. So this is they take a big chunk of that revenue. So with touchless, you basically press a button and you're making all the revenue. It also, again, if you combine it with one of these booths or beds or cabins, it takes up a small footprint. And also, it's not that expensive. Those are a really high return on investment.
So how much can people or businesses charge for the sessions?
People generally charge, again, between $25 and $45. It really depends on the location. Like if you're in a small day spa in a strip mall, it might be closer to $25. If you're at a high-end resort like our friends at the Carillon, it could be upwards of $45 to $60 for an hour session. So it just depends.
Right. And you touched on briefly the ROI, but how quickly can people expect to make their money back on one of these cabins?
Typically, frankly, it's about 3 or 4 months. and we provide a lot of marketing materials, kind of pre-sale to teach people how to market and get customers in, and also to keep customers coming back. So, but again, once people start trying halotherapy, they tend to stick with it because they see the benefits pretty quickly.
Fantastic. You just stole my last question. So we managed to wrap it up in 9 questions.
Okay.
But thank you very much for giving us a quick insight into halotherapy.
Well, thank you for your time and all the great work that you do. So thank you very much.